Oh, Ty, I wanted to say too that B-boy's name was Relax.
Relax.
I just wanted to mention his name because I realized we didn't say his name, and that's important. So it was Relax and Dizzy that battled in China. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. For those who just joined, don't know, we were talking about a call-out battle between Dizzy of Supernatural and a B-boy from China. His name is Relax. Mm-hmm. There was some online, disagreement, what have you. I guess Dizzy was judging a jam, and Dizzy voted for the other guy. He thought he won. Relax thought he won, and so he took it online. You know what I mean? Did his little thing. And Dizzy, as a b-boy, he's like, "Yo, when I see you is on," and one thing led to another, and then after they battle, they they squash it right there and then. But it was a beautiful moment from what I see. So let's get some Detroit. When you coming back to Detroit? Why not?
Detroit, oh man, I love that city. I don't know. I hope soon. I went out there for a few small events. I love the music scene there. I also love the dance scene, man. Hardcore Detroit. Shout out to Strings. Shout out to Mike Manson, man. They nasty with the JIT, man. The JIT was a big influence on my style as well. I mean, I started, really reaching out and looking at other dance styles for inspirations. My whole experience in this dance stuff, man, and JIT was something that I looked at closely. Also, Chicago footwork. There's a style in Philly called soul stepping, or the GQ, which is also another dance that I did for a while that I'm still doing today. And it's interesting, man. We flip cane and stuff, like almost majorette style, where you're flipping cane. And you're doing a lot of like footwork, which is a lot of like hustle steps and tap, soft shoe tap that kind of shit. I love anything that's like, cultural, in some sort of way like that to certain regions. I think that's real dope. So, right. Shout out to Detroit. Who knows? Hopefully soon I'll come back out. We'll see.
Yeah, someone asked, what is MZK history with Rocksteady? Like, were they always tight? Yeah, always.
Oh, man. Rocksteady was Zulu Kings at one point. You know?
Yeah, exactly. In the 80s, when they first did the tour, overseas, you know what I mean? And that's when they got put down as Zulu Kings. I think it was Legs, Frosty Freeze, Take One. Rest in peace, Frosty Freeze, Take One, you know what I mean? Even the first generation Zulu King, there was, Frosty Freeze learned a lot from the first generation, and I'm sure Africa Islam got an influence for Legs as well. You know what I mean? So Wiggles, for me, like Wiggles, Legs, Frosty Freeze, not like those are my big brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, word.
Like YNot and New Jersey, we like cousins in a way. You know what I'm saying? Just hip hop family.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's the thing. We Rocksteady and MZK, like we're always tight. I should say Zulu Kings. That's the original Zulu King. The original name of the crew is called Zulu Kings, right? And so when we got on, when Ness got the Prez, it was still Zulu Kings, and then I think when I got on, I kind of like rebranded, told Ness like, yo, add a Mighty Zulu King. We changed it to the S to the Z, Mighty Zulu Kings, and kind of like made it worldwide, you know what I mean? But for us, Rocksteady Zulu Kings was like third generation Zulu Kings. You know what I mean? So there's a lineage there. Even if YNot or what have you, they're part of that lineage, you know what I'm saying? Under that whole umbrella, you know what I mean? So yeah, like Wiggles still rap, you know what I'm saying? Like straight up.
For sure.
He still rap, you know what I mean? And he's like to us, he's a lot, Legs and Wiggles, Fable, those are like our mentors, you know what I'm saying? And we were like direct descendant of the first, you know what I mean? Like it's there's lineage and legacy there, man. It's deep. It's not just we're gonna go competition win and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's lineage and there's legacy and there's historical history here,
But
yeah,
it's in that relationship, that's undeniable, man. you know.
Exactly, and that's why Ness was rock steady for a while, you know. And even if you ask Ness, like he learned a lot being down with rock steady. His whole style and everything, you know. Okay, questions start coming in. What if? Okay, dang, that's a lot.
Great.
What advice would you give someone trying to start a b-boy movement in an area that doesn't have a community?
You just gotta show up. You know, show up to places, get down, and all you can do is share. Don't try to be preachy and teachy to everybody. You know, I think people don't like to be talked to in that way, for one. And honestly, if they're interested in what you're doing, they'll ask you, and that's when you'll know that they are interested. You know, they'll come up to you, hey, what are you doing? What is that? And you just keep doing your thing. You represent like usual, whether you got a crew or not, whether you have a scene or not. You show up, music is playing, you like to dance to it, do your thing. You know, you will find your tribe. You know, they will join if they want to. So, yeah.
Right. How do you make your foundation effective in your style? Free Flow asked that. How do you make your foundation effective in your style?
How do I make it effective? I mean, foundation is it. That's where it's at. So, how do I make it effective?
I would say learn the culture aspect. To be more effective, right? You got to know what is, you know, it's not just doing any stuff. It's like, how did that became that? You know what I mean?
For sure.
There's a lot of study, man.
Like background to it is important for sure.
Yeah. Battle Fusion Clan. Shout to Battle Fusion Clan. What is your opinion on labeling breaking as sports?
I mean, it's definitely not a sport. You know.
Yeah, it's a dance first and foremost.
For most people that see the artistry in it, I don't think sport is the correct term. You know. So I don't know, and I mean that's going to get tricky now because we're moving into the Olympics, right? So, but I also consider certain sports to be, there's got to be an art in that too. So you know, sport is just a funny word that we put on things when we want to like cheer and look at it from the outside, and you know these are people that watch who are, you know, not participants. So it doesn't really matter who else calls it whatever they want to call it. I know what it is for myself.
Exactly.
The community knows too.
So,
you know, we just got to keep doing our thing, you know, and whether it goes into that realm of sport in the Olympics or not, you know, that's just going to be something we'll be fighting for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion is the labeling is just a way to market it, right? Like, don't think that, when they say sport, it doesn't mean our dance is a sport. It's just a way for corporate America to say, what is this? Get their attention. Again, come back to that marketing aspect, right? And so that's what I think. Like you said, you know, as long as we're doing what we're doing, we understand it, we know what it is. It's like, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they want to call it sport or this and that, it's we know what it is. And as long as the cultural aspect and the foundational aspect of it, it's not lost in the sauce, then, bro, I mean, just like the Youth Olympics. I mean, bro, you seen it. Yo, these kids was just doing what we all doing from the get, right? Different style, different perspective to the dance, what have you. But it wasn't just like, you know, going to Youth Olympics and you expect, you got to do airflare every round and they judge on that. Or you got to, you know, it's the whole package. And, I mean, what they did at the Youth Olympics is breaking. Even if you label it sport, it's breaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, no matter how you label it, when you see it, you know that's breaking. You know what I mean? And for me, I feel like calling it a sport is just a way to, if you want to do a proposal, marketing, just to bring in numbers and trying to get sponsorship. Use it for your benefit. You know what I mean? If you want to create some sponsorship aspect, grab that money, invest back to the community.
Right.
Like what is wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? To put in a proposal to say, hey, got this sport and they'll fund you for a whole year. Mm-hmm. And then, you can bring that budget back to the community.
Yeah.
And they don't dictate how you use that money, as long as, you're putting up their logo everywhere. But if you approach it more of a cultural art perspective, then that's all gravy,
For sure.
And if there's people out there that, want to use, so-called sport to I don't know, just to degrade the dance, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think all of us are not collectively are not on that mind frame. We all want to take this dance to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Either, like I said, many lanes, right? University route, the Olympics, with Dizzy, the plan, adding value to the B-boy, just fans buying tickets,
Right.
So there's many lanes, and as long as we know what it is, the people within inside the culture, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I mean, for real.
And we just gotta keep educating each other and knowing what we're doing, what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when I hit the Olympics as a sport, I wasn't like, yo, I'm turning this shit off. I'm not watching it because it's a sport now, this and that. It's like, come on, man. Really? You know what I mean? When I saw the battle, yeah, bro, they was breaking. They was battling, like how we do it. So
and these
nothing
kids
was
are dope, man. Then that's not like they're whack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nothing wasn't like the Olympics didn't tell them, well, it's a sport now, so you shouldn't be doing this. You can't top rock. You can't do footwork. You just got to do moves. Now, that's when, they dictate now, right? Like, oh, you got to do this, only the big moves, and don't care about this and that. Other elements of breaking, then we can have that dialogue, But, you got legs on board. You got more. We got AT, so you got all those brothers and sisters know what breaking is. So as long as we have control and partner up with these people, and they can put us on a big platform to showcase the world our art, we know it as art. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Like, we gotta adapt. We gotta at least not be afraid of change. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, carry on that tradition.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Juan, when are you opening your SoundCloud channel, bro? You promised me somewhere in September. B-boy Marcus, you want to hear your music, bro?
Oh, I think I got one track up there right now. So if you go to soundcloud.com/YNotism, you'll find it. It's actually a song that I recorded a while ago, but I was playing the kalimba, which is the African instrument that is actually tuned to the same tune as the instrument that you may have heard played in the Earth, Wind, and Fire songs from back in the day. And then I just rocked the beat quickly on the MPC. I played the bass line on a Moog synthesizer, and then I also had some FM synthesis on top of that. So,
right.
Yeah, go check that out. SoundCloud.com/YNotism. And I'll be having more stuff up soon. I actually, I was on a long flight recently, and I just did a whole mixtape with this little joint right here.
Yo, that's official, bro.
It's a small sampler. It's a little Yamaha joint. It makes really low quality fucking shit, but I love it. So,
yeah, I heard some of it when you shared on your IG story. I was like, oh, I had a comment. I'm like, bro, this is official.
Yeah. It's got a nice sound. It's got a sound like to me how like if you would record something on cassette, from some other shitty ass recording. It sounds raw to me. It sounds like just very organic. You know what I mean? So I love it.
Yeah, no doubt. And look out for some collab. You know what I'm saying, with YNot. You know what I'm saying? Let's do
Yeah,
King
man.
Betty type deal. Like, watch out.
Let's go.
Y'all heard it first. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna happen. You know, on a musical level. So. And that's what we do, yo. You know what I'm saying? We gotta lead by example, collaborate, partner up with each other. You know what I'm saying? And move forward, man. Because all that other bullshit is just noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they don't add value to the game.
Yeah, doing shit, you know. So
yeah, exactly, bro. One person asked, hold up, why not? What is or was your favorite jam to go to?
My favorite jam? I mean, nothing can take away from breakbeats from that first experience, you know.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's nothing like it today that I can even compare it to. I mean, it was just that dope, you know.
Right.
It just had the energy of the Bronx. It also had a lot of people in there who just come from that area. So it's like there was a very raw feeling inside. It was like black painted wood floor that I think had some holes and shit in it. You know, the sound system was pretty decent. You know, like, I don't know. It just had the right people, had the right atmosphere. You know, Breakbeats was dope. And that was in the Hunts Point Community Center, so you guys could look that up. You know, it's called The Point. The place is called The Point, and it's a community center, Hunts Point, in the Bronx.
Yeah, look it up, y'all. It's the Bronx. And The Point. Yeah. Like, that housed a lot of official B-boy events. You know, official. I mean, how I think that's where K-Mel and Jakes really happened. Like the first battle. Yeah, it was at the Point. That whole joint started, you know, at the Point.
Like 4-part battle series.
Yeah, and Jakes. It was funny because K-Mel. I'm gonna have K-Mel on in December, by the way. So I can't wait to hear his perspective. It was K-Mel, K1, shout to K1 and Ness. They were judging, and I guess Jakes thought K-Mel, you know, picked the other crew, and it comes back to that. Yo, you know, you pick the other crew, but then K-Mel was like, yo, I didn't vote against you. I tie. You know what I'm saying? And then
that was when the New York Kings, they assembled the New York Kings. I was there for that battle. I remember that.
Yeah. Shouts to New York Kings, man.
Too Sweet. Shout out to Too Sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Sweet, official, man. All them brothers, man. I gotta get Jigs on here too. You know, so. But that's my plans. Is, you know, one at a time. You know. Somebody asked, why do more of my favorite B-boys or DJs cater more in workshops and performances overseas and not enough in the U.S.?
So overseas instead of the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you know, that's just money. That's all that really is. What's crazy about that shit is that the reality of it, and this is also for me, like, it took me a few years for me to get on my feet when I decided to take dance on as a career, right? And I mean, I went for a good year of traveling to other countries with $100 to my name. You know, God forbid something went wrong, I'd have been stuck in some of these countries. I don't know how the hell I would have gotten home. A flight ticket coming back from Europe to America is for sure over 700 bills. I ain't even have that. So they have to understand also that a lot of the opportunities were starting to build from the early 2000s up until now. That's only 18 years ago. What people don't understand is that this whole workshop situation didn't happen until then. It wasn't happening in the 90s. Nobody was traveling the world teaching workshops. It's still kind of new. Now we're getting to a place where, like, we're starting to understand, one, how to make money doing this dance shit, how to market ourselves, all the stuff we were talking about earlier. So we'll be able to have the opportunities now to go to different states and be able to share the same way that we do overseas. The thing is, overseas has government funding. They get grants easier because they're taking us as an outside entity for them to have a cultural exchange. It's a little easier for them to get funding. If you are in Ohio, or if you're in, Pennsylvania or something, you're like, hey, I want to bring B-Boy YNot to come teach a class. They're going to be like, who the fuck is that? And the crazy part about that is that's inside our own country. That's America.
Yeah.
They don't value this thing that we do as much as these other places. So it's not that we don't want to teach anyone around here. That's definitely not the case. The thing is, it's not feasible for everybody.
Right.
It's not easy for you to get the funding, and it's not easy for me to just take a couple of $100 out of a whole weekend. That I'm gonna need to make more money than that because I have other things that I'm trying to invest in or to survive with. My apartment alone, like, for one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors, but it's never because we don't want to. That's definitely not the case. Even the OGs would say the same thing. I'm around them very often. We travel together a lot, and I know that, and they deserve every penny they get. Trust. They'll take a sacrifice of money sometimes, but most of the time, no. Wiggles has 6 kids. There's not one OG that I know that does not have a kid. So when it comes to family and supporting and all that type of stuff, it's not even a question if someone says that they're going to take no pay cuts. I totally understand. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, a lot of overseas have government support.
Yeah.
It gets deep, y'all. I go back culturally on how hip hop became, and why hip hop became is because of government policy. It kind of like took the funding out, from the school, and then kids got left with nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's deep, y'all. Y'all gotta do your homework.
So another one of my fights in the university is to be able to get that funding back into the arts programs, but then also, be able to set up those types of, opportunities for people who are learning this style of dance and bring those OGs into the schools, man, and get them paid properly of what they deserve, right? So there's a couple of things you got to look at, but yeah.
Now, I think U.S. will support once, it hits the Olympics. And
That's why the Olympics is important. That's
right. So once they know, like, oh, crap, what is this, so-called dance sport? You know what I mean? They're like, okay, who? I need to have, U.S. representative in this, and they're gonna start funding stuff, man. That's when it's gonna get to the next level where our government would set aside a budget just for, to create Olympians in this dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when, and once you get the budget, you can do how you want to do. You can train, and you can set up workshops to bring cats like Wiggles and, the Nest, the Legs, the Ken Swift, what have you, into your city, because you have a budget. So if the government give you a 20 grand budget, okay, take whatever it is. Okay, I want to do workshops, as a training method for my, trainee. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do that, and within the workshop budget, you can bring these OGs or cats like YNot and whoever it is that you feel that can add value to whoever you're training at your school to be Olympians. You know what I mean? Or to get qualified to be Olympians. I think that's when the government will kind of like target us more, right? When they're like, wait.
Well, that's the thing. What the B-boys and B-girls in our community don't understand is that we're always behind the ball in a lot of ways because we get kind of grouped in with this whole idea of what hip-hop is. The thing is now, most things that dictate what happens in hip-hop is through the music. What's popular in the music right now, we have to almost differentiate ourselves from what that is because we don't actually support whatever the fuck these guys are talking about. I don't even know what they're talking about anymore. Whatever that is, we can't necessarily just be saying hip hop all the time because that's being attached to what it is that we do. They don't know what we do, but they hear hip hop, that's where their mind is going. So it's like if you don't have like people vouching for us who are like the Red Bulls, who are larger companies, you know, which is, you know, companies run America. So it's like when you see people investing in us, then they're like, oh, well, what's this? What's going on here? You see the Olympics, you start to see these things. These things can benefit us. I'm not saying that they're going to be 100% helpful, but they can benefit us in the way that when we know what we're talking about, once we get into those positions, we can make change. You know, otherwise, you know, we're always going to be behind. We're always going to be behind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly. Let's see some other questions here.
Yeah.
One brother asked, it seems like a lot of young b-boys neglect Top Rock for power and blow-up moves. Other than yourself, who would you like to recommend as an example who brings strong Top Rock and as well as Up Rock?
Who's an example? I mean, there's plenty of examples, but the thing is, like, you know, you're seeing less and less of it in competition because for some reason, kids think that that's not what wins competition. And the more that we're, as a community, building these systems, the systems don't necessarily work for someone that approaches a dance such as myself. So you can't expect a b-boy to dance the way that I dance to win this type of style of competition. But there's plenty of people that do this thing outside of competition. We're just not putting them on any type of platform as we would someone who just won, you know, BC1 or someone who just won Freestyle Session. But there's plenty. I mean, they're all at the jams too. They're there. They're just not winning. And they're not winning because we're not creating a platform enough for them. This is why we do stuff like Top Rock City, etc. It's just to shine light on other dancers who bring something else to the game, whatever. You know, some people, I mean, I've got criticized a long time, like, oh, you can't separate the dance. Like, that's not really what this was about.
Yeah, that wasn't the focus.
Right.
Yeah, I understand why y'all did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's been footwork battles for years, and that's just to say, yo, this element of hip-hop is so important, you can't forget about it, you know? And that's all. I mean, I think people are not trying to get over or whatever. I mean, I know some people would probably hate on me because, like, oh, you know, he doesn't air flare. How can he be, you know, known as a great b-boy or whatever? I don't know. But the thing is, it's like, you know, everything has a contribution. And then when it's put into a platform like the events that we're talking about, and then eventually when it does get to the Olympics, you know, we're going to want a more well-rounded looking person that can kind of do everything. Now, are there many dancers like that? No, there's not. You know, you start to cut out a lot of people, but now we have something to strive for in that realm of competition. You know, I don't see myself doing those types of competitions, and I'm okay with that. I honestly see myself as a coach. You know, I can take one of them young kids and be like, yo, you hear this song? Let me dance in front of you and see if any of this shit rubs off on you. You know? And it's a possibility that it will. And I think that's the evolution, because there's a lot of shit these kids are doing that I couldn't do back in the days that I could do any type of physical moves like that.
Yo, I saw the kids battle.
It's a real evolution, you know?
Yeah, I saw the kids battle, the freestyle session kids battle. Oh my gosh, bro.
Insane. The kids is nasty, you know?
Bro. Next level. Like, I never thought, 15, 16. And honestly, they basically taking it back to how Breakin started, right? Is in the age group, right? Because when B-boys first, they were like 15, 16. It wasn't like 20s, 30s. When they're, they was in their teens, you know what I mean? And that's dope, bro. Because your youth created hip-hop, honestly. And to see that high of a level.
It's their dance.
I was like, bro.
It's their dance. Amazing. So whatever they're doing, I'm following. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't expect that, any of these kids are going to dance the way that I do. I have a very unique perspective and experience in my own way. And that's my lane. You know what I'm saying? That's my way of doing things. And I don't expect everyone to do that. But I will take on anybody who says, hey, I want to learn some of that shit too. Cool. I'm going to share it. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to hoard this information because this is also stuff that comes from, Ken Swift, Crazy Legs, Mr. Wiggles, Flow Master, Freeze, Frosty Freeze. I have to share this information if people ask because it's not all mine either. Mm-hmm. It's part of tradition. A lot of the steps that I do, they're traditional. They're foundational. And the only thing I can do is give it to other people. You know what I mean? So,
right. Yeah, you're just a messenger. You know what I'm saying? And that's me as well. When I feel, tie this, tie that, I'm like, nah, I'm just a messenger. You know what I'm saying? like these cats are the ones who, created this whole joint. You know what I mean? It's the Wiggles, the Legs, even, all the first generation cats. Not just the B-boys, but the DJ, Cool Herc, the whole 9 yard, bro. So, yeah, I mean, we just gotta be for us in our, for our current generation, in our age range, right? It's just, we're there just to help develop the next generation, and that's it. And not through, you got to do this, and this, and this. You know what I mean? Yeah. Eventually, in their journey, they're going to ask us questions, and we're going to be there to guide them. You know what I mean?
As we should.
But to approach it more of like, you got to, or else this and that. It's like they're going to go the opposite direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, rebellion. That's what we do as young kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also the beauty of it is have different perspective. That's what hip hop is about at the end of the day, right? If you look at that kids battle, they all don't look alike. They have different perspective towards the dance, and maybe in 10 years, 20 years from now, they might, look different as well, right? It's part of that journey. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, Logistic, she got that funk. You know what I'm saying? Like that's her approach, and she brought out the big moves and all that, The team that she battled, they came with that, raw, like that raw power style aspect to the game. You know what I mean? Like different combination, different variation, and just to see that is just beautiful. It doesn't matter who win or lost. It's just the different approach to the dance, And I think a lot of time we all get caught up in that little bubble, right? Sometimes I do too, right? Sometimes I got to check myself like, whoa, nah, that's not how you want to approach this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because you don't know their backstory until you conversate with them. Right. And you're like, oh, okay, I see how you approach. And once you start conversating with them, they might ask you questions that they don't know before. And that's the whole part of the process of building. You know what I mean? I think a lot of time we kind of lash out without even knowing that person or their background, how they came up. You know what I mean? Not every kid nowadays came up from the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're not going to approach this dance from the streets. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I think a lot of us in our generation, like, oh man, this is missing that in the scene, what have you, is maybe because the demographic has changed.
Oh, yeah, the scene is not the same.
The scene is not, 9 out of 10 kids coming up today are not from the streets. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to approach that dance in a way that, we know about. You know what I mean? And so I think our position is to at least help them understand. That's what leadership is about, is to help them understand, but not always like on top of their, over their shoulder and just like, hey, you got to do this, and that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so just let them explore, because this dance should be a journey at the end of the day, right? Because the YNot today is not the YNot 20 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
The style, the flavor, what have you. Same thing with me. You know what I mean? Even with Wiggles, if you look at Wiggles footage today versus the Wiggles in the 70s or the 80s, it's not the same Wiggles. You know what I'm saying? Because we grow in this journey in our dance. You know what I'm saying? So let the young brothers and sisters of the culture grow. You know what I'm saying? And let them have fun. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's about having fun, right? Why not?
You gotta let them have fun. You gotta let them develop on their own, because that's how they create their own style. You gotta let them fail, even.
Fail. Yeah.
Let them fail. Let them fail a million times, because they're gonna learn better that way. You know.
Yeah, and they're gonna end up. They're gonna end up in cipher battles that they're gonna learn something. Like, okay, you know, why did I lose? Well, maybe because you gotta learn this approach as well, and that's when they kind of like, oh crap, and then they already have big moves, right? And then they learn the other aspect, bro. It's a wrap. You come back stronger, you know.
For sure.
What is? Hold up. Somebody put fullphantom.yondu.com. That'll get you. Yeah, Full Phantom been putting up online classes. You know what I mean? Making beats. You know, I'll have Full Phantom on. You know, he got a lot of things he's working on. So
for sure.
Hip hop seems to happen so quickly, and we literally have history in front of us, and it's wild that we have it. Why do you think it happened this way, and what's the importance of this? So I guess this person is asking, why did hip hop happen this way? I guess I don't know.
Hip hop history in front of us? You mean like just in terms that we've like what? Well, I think because we're still living it, and I think that's the crazy part about it. It's just such a young art form. We have people who are considered to be pioneers or beginners of this still alive, and I think that's the crazy reality of it. It's like you're learning it now in universities. People are telling you about something that seems like it's so far distant, but it's really not. You know? So I think maybe that's it. It's kind of mind fucking in a way that you're like, yo, but this thing is actually still here. And actually, if I put a little bit of effort into this, I can become a part of the growth of it from here on out. You know, there's I mean, that's with anything in life, but it is so brand new. It really is. And I think people should be understanding that it is, and noticing that it does have a history. It does have people that are accessible today, and we should be accessing them as much as possible, because, you know, this information can very easily be lost, you know. So I would just say, let's take full advantage of what we have. We're very privileged to be aware of the fact that we are making history right now, you know. So
yeah, create your own history, you know. And tell it once, you know, once you're old. You know what I mean? That's the way to go. I mean, just create your own history. Here it is. Do you have any good learning resources for young b-boys and b-girls in rural areas with no hip-hop culture? Like, so they're not from the city, you know what I'm saying, but they from out yonder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's any good learning resources that you can recommend for them?
So I think the way, you know, I don't fully have an answer for that, because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come from those kind of places. And I think what's interesting about that is the fact that we've gone to different places on this planet, and they seem to have gotten information somehow. So I don't think it's always about the city, but it's more about learning from observation, learning through imitation. And you do that until you can get a direct source of information. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially when it comes to art and things like that. For example, you know, if I'm interested in something like tap, I never had a tap teacher, but I'd put bottle caps on my shoes and I would tap dance. And there's a thing about, I guess, the energy that comes from a city perspective, which is basically, if I don't have it, I'm going to make it. And maybe that mentality is not outside, but I think you have to have that type of mentality in order to get a start into the things that you want to do. So I say, if you're looking at it and it looks like this, try it until you meet someone who actually knows how to do it and can show you. But You know, I wouldn't trust half the information you get online. I would just say do your own research, grab what you think is dope, and just start developing in some sort of way. And that's going to be your introduction. You know, listen to things like this where you have people who are actually doing the art and they're talking, they're having conversation. You know, that's valuable. That's valuable information. And when it comes to the actual art itself, just get your feet wet, get your hands dirty, and just mess around.
Yeah, I would recommend them going to the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Like, save your money up. I mean, if you in your teens here, if you can. But if you're like young adults, what have you, if you're really passionate about this, yo, we all pay dues. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all pay dues. You know what I'm saying? Catch a flight, go to the Bronx. You know, learn, ask questions. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. You know what I'm saying? So, and yo, the OGs is there, man. You just gotta. It's like a gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, go out and research, and that's the part of that journey. You know, it shouldn't be easy, right? It's like an adventure, yo. For real, it's like an adventure.
You can't download it, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't download it. You got to go experience it. You got to get involved. It's nothing that you can just look from a distance and decide that you're going to be a part of it. You can't. You got to get in.
Yeah. Exactly. So shouts to everybody that's asking good questions.
Word.
I wanna speak a little bit about top rocking. You know, the misconception, because a lot of people think, well, not everybody, but you know, they call themselves top rockers, what have you. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, rather hear from YNot Smile. You know what I'm saying? Yo, is there such a thing called top rocker?
And my knowledge of a top rocker is actually the panel that's on the top of a jean jacket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what a top rocker is. But in terms
bottom
of top
rocker,
yeah, if you're gonna call yourself a top rocker, I think that's just now you're separating. Now you're trying to micro. I don't know. It's a part of a larger thing. And I posted about this last night, actually. I was thinking about it.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Because, we just experienced the Top Rock Battle at Freestyle Session. And I just posted a clip, some footage I had on my phone, but I just had a little blurb saying, Top Rock is a part of a whole. It's one aspect of the dance of breaking. And if you want to be authentic in your Top Rock, you have to know that what the purpose of it is. First of all, the purpose of tops is it's your preparation before you do something, right? You're gonna get into a move. You're gonna get down and transition to the floor. You're gonna jump in the air. Whatever the situation is, you're preparing to do something. So that energy already needs to be there. If I'm standing still or if I'm just shaking my shoulders, that doesn't mean that I'm about to do anything. I can display my sense of rhythm with that, whatever, but there's a very specific energy and bounce and groove that's put into the moment that happens before you get into the other aspect of breaking, which is footwork, freezing, power, etc. And I do feel that if you don't have the experience of rocking on the ground, that it won't show in your top rock. There's a lot of people that I look at that, and it's nothing, I'm not taking away from their dance ability. They're great dancers. They have great rhythm, they have nice steps, etc. But I'm like, but you can't break, and I can tell by watching you top rock because it don't look like you're about to do shit. And most of the time, if you see someone who's real dope on top, the minute they hit the floor, they start to fall apart. Because they're focusing too much on that itself only.
Right.
And it just doesn't connect. It doesn't connect with the rest of their stuff. That's what I'm starting to see now. I'm starting to see people who are like, all right, maybe this person does have some type of ability. But the minute they hit the floor, they start slopping around. It's not as strong. It's like, yo, what happened?
Right. right.
And for me, like, you know, personally, I use my top rock as an advantage to say that I know that most b-boys, for one, have rhythm issues, and for two, you know, I'm from a '90s generation where it's like, this is my setup. So I might fuck with you for 3-4 rounds before I even get to the round.
Right.
Just because we're getting into it, I need a warm up.
Yeah, that's a warm up.
Be like, I can't throw one round of all my things in one. Like, that shit is like a foreign way of dancing to me. You know what I mean? That's why I'm not really built for these competitions, because I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to dance longer than 30 seconds most of the time, dog. You know, I get in there, I say what the fuck I gotta say, and I'm out. I don't really do this long, elaborate thing, you know? So, but that's just my approach. I mean, things change, you know, and now because of competition, people are dancing differently, etc., you know? And that's cool. It speaks of your era, you know? It speaks of what's happening within the culture. I get it. And that's dope, too. So, but yeah, in terms of, like, calling yourself a top rocker, like, if that ever becomes a thing, I hope no one puts my name on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I also think it doesn't speak to my own personal history. I'm a b-boy. I've learned all aspects of this dance. I've done power moves. I still do power moves. It's not like I don't do that shit.
Right.
I do footwork. I love the whole aspect of breaking, you know? Top rock is the icing on the cake for me. You know, it's where I can really get down and show my rhythmic ability before I start to do everything else. You know what I mean? So
yeah, even your top rock is more of a b-boy approach, you know. And see, a well-trained eye will understand, like when I see YNot, sometimes he do house step, but he put in there in a b-boy approach. You know, I see it, you know what I'm saying? But you approach it more of a b-boy, you know, aspect of it. And it comes back to that cultural education, you know? And so, yeah, I mean,
too, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the reality, too, is that, you know, b-boying was just a lot of two-step and crossover, Indian step, you know. All these other steps that come involved, they come from outside, you know.
Right.
So they have to either be adjusted to fit in with the b-boy feel, or they're just going to remain looking like the same steps that you got them from. But you got to understand how to, like, incorporate it into your b-boying to where it's not so far off that it's not b-boying anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been really trying to push, you know, the vocabulary of top rock, even in footwear, everything, the whole aspect of breaking, to where, you know, I want to evolve rhythmically and not lose my b-boyness. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's been a challenge for me. It's something I've been working towards, and I was hoping people would see that. You know what I mean? Because I caught a lot of shit for a long time, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Even with Machine, you know, his top rock, you know, he put, I mean, he adds some of that crumping step to his top rock, but it's more of a b-boy approach. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, like that's what I like about Machines. Like he able to add certain step from other dance style, but then make it more of a b-boy approach. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's perfect for you and Machine to be on that judges panel. Shout out to Polsky, you know what I'm saying? For
much respect.
So he was like one of the first ones to throw a top rap battle, right? In the US.
Yeah, you know, Rocksteady threw when they used to do the Rocksteady anniversary, they had a system where it was 1 round top rock, second round footwork, third round all out. And I think you know, that was the kind of first time it was singled out in that way. And then Polsky took it, was like, yo, I love just this aspect alone, and he's like, let's see if Cass could just do that, period, you know?
Right.
And once I heard about that, I was like, oh shit, I gotta go there, you know? So I went to the Mighty Four, was like the first one that I got involved with.
Yeah. And shouts to Wanda and Maka for Yo, I got no words. Yo, straight up. flyness.
females,
You know what I mean?
man. You know, it was really dope. Actually, not just them two, but there was a pretty heavy involvement of females in the Top Rock battle.
Bro,
and
that's
freestyle
beautiful.
session. And what I've realized, even when we were doing the Top Rock City, is that it actually brings out more women, which is dope.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect that, man, because there's usually a lack of that in our scene. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I started to realize that it's kind of an important thing that we are doing this, because it's bringing more of that unity in terms of, and the balance of the male female energy. So.
Right. So shouts to all the queens, out there. Keep doing your thing. Keep elevating. Stay fly like y'all
went
doing.
off. They was killing it.
Yeah, I was like, man, hold on. Let Tyquan and YNot enter and battle him. Uh-oh. Yeah, YNot be like, yo, what? I'm gonna smoke you. See, that's the thing.
Let's enter, man.
But that's the B-boy, B-girl, mentality, though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all healthy competition. I always clown with Wanda, man. Honestly, Wanda's like one of the top B-girl in the U.S. Her and Maka, straight up. So shouts to them, man. Always holding it down.
They make noise.
Yeah. So somebody asked, let's take the safety off on these questions. What's really good with this Ben Hart situation? Should B-boys keep politics out of dance, or is politics what created the dance?
Ben Hart.
I guess Ben Hart. So I guess you haven't been following Ben Hart. This whole issue where I guess the 60-year-old B-boy, he entered Silverback, and I guess Stance, shots to Stance, they put his footage up and it went viral, and I guess people find out his political views is very far right, the Trump and.
Okay.
About immigration and send the troops to the border, this and that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the situation. And so there was this whole why y'all supporting him when he's a Trump supporter? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I guess he wrote speeches for the Reagans and the Bush administration. Stuff like he's I guess up there, about what, and I guess a lot of people were saying, he wrote a book called Radical Islam versus America, you know what I mean? And so I guess there was a whole commotion of brothers and sisters just feel like, y'all shouldn't put him at the highest level, focus, on him like that, to make him go viral. But in Stan's defense, they didn't really know, hey, why not? Who you vote for? You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. And we say, who you vote for? What's your, you know what I'm saying? We don't get on that level. But I feel once a lot of brothers and sisters find out, they feel let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Right. And so for me, there's nothing wrong with talking about it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's hip hop, and as you and I know, why not? Political policy was the reason why it drove hip hop, how it evolved into hip hop, right? Is because of these policy that happened in the hood. You know what I'm saying? That kind of took the art out, took the music out, took the fundings out from the streets. You know what I'm saying? And from the hood, you know what I mean? And a lot of that kind of create this whole new movement, because brother and sister didn't have no outlets, right? And so they created hip hop. So I mean, if you really think about it, that's how it's very deep. The cultural aspect is very deep. I don't have nothing against brother and sisters talking about it, but don't do it in a way that outcasts somebody like Ben Hart. You know what I mean? Who have different of opinion. You know what I mean? You should welcome him to have a dialogue, right? To, hey, let me hear your point of view, and let me tell you why I feel this way, right? Why those policy don't align with, you know, how hip hop was created. You know what I'm saying? And so, and we shouldn't outcast people like that because they have every right to learn as well, right? And it comes back to that journey, right? Hip hop kind of like helped us in a way to understand different point of views, right? And so maybe somebody like Ben Hart, the more he's into it, instead of outcasting him, you know, and make him understand, you know, to hear your point of view, and that's all you can do. And sometimes you just gotta agree to disagree, because what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell them like you can't break no more.
Right.
Like what? You know? So you really think about it. Oh, you're against Trump, you know, build walls, right? But then you kind of building the walls within, you know, but you can't be part of this. In a way, like, you contradicting that concept, right? And so you should, for me, I should, you know, you should welcome those type of people, and then have dialogue, have these type of conversation, right? Because
I would say invite him to experience this culture as much as possible, because I believe that his experience within the culture would probably change his mind on a lot of the views he has now. You know, hip hop is that powerful, and we have broken down those boundaries for years. You know, to the point where maybe he has never experienced that yet. So I think through his hip hop experience, he'll get that for sure. He'll battle a Muslim and lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It might be they're like, oh shit, and actually respect this person for what it is that they're doing in front of him at the moment, and that may